Hi, my name's Gary Hawkins and I'm a functional nutritionist. Today I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and about how I came to be where I am today. I started studying nutrition in around about 2005. I predominantly worked with athletes, so I was working with endurance athletes, mixed martial artists, boxers, jockeys, every type of athlete you could think of. My main focus was really on aesthetics, so I was into how people look and how I looked, and performance as well. So it was really about optimising peak physical performance as opposed to longevity and health. Around about 2008, I started to experience some symptoms, and I lost the feeling in one of my legs. The following year, I lost my eyesight for a few months. And each time I go to the doctors, and the doctor would tell me, you've detached a retina or you've trapped a nerve, and then give me some sort of medication to try and mask the symptoms. I'd go in with psoriasis, rosacea, I had chronic acne, I started to get bad digestive problems, and each time I kept being given more and more medications for this, and to the point where eventually I was on antibiotics for a whole year. Then one day in 2012, on a Saturday, I went to the gym. I had a really good session in there, lifted some really good weights, felt really strong. And by comparison, going back then, I was almost 17 stone, now I'm about 13 stone. So I was about 4 stone heavier than I am now, and I was a lot stronger than I am now. So I lifted some good weights, I went home, I chilled out, I woke up on the Sunday morning, and when I woke up, I was numb. From the waist down, I had no feeling. Now I could touch the skin and there was nothing there, there was just nothing going on. And as the days went on, this numbness started to get worse, and it started to move up to the point where it was up just below my arms. And I had this tight, hugging feeling coming up around the waist. So I go to the doctor, and the doctors at the hospital gave me a lumbar punch, so an injection, taking some spinal fluid for a sample. They did some MRI scans and then some other blood work. My inflammation, my C-reactive protein was absolutely through the roof, so I was chronically inflamed, and that had been a process that had been building up for a long time. And the doctor came around to me and he said, "Okay, so I can see some problems with your lower back. There's some blown disc there, but that's not what's causing the numbness. We're going to do another MRI scan, look a little bit higher up." So I went back into the MRI scan, had some coloured dyes put in, and then that was the time when they saw the lesions in my spine. So they came back and they said to me, "Okay, we've worked out what it is, you've got multiple sclerosis." Wow. I wasn't expecting that. There was me thinking it was a sports injury. You know, I thought I've trapped another nerve, or I've got to detach something or other, or something's gone wrong in the gym. You know, I'll be all right. But it wasn't. It was MS, and it came as a bit of a shock. My children at the time, Jack and Grace, they were 2 and 3, around about that age. And that's quite a motivator, you know, when you've got young children. It motivates you. So I go and talk to the doctors give me more medications. They talk to me about Copaxone, an injection that I have to do every day, which is a disease modification drug, okay, a DMD. So it's supposed to change the way that the autoimmune disease is attacking my body. The doctors told me I was just unlucky. I started taking more medications, some diazepam, some gabapentins, and I was really spun out. I didn't really know what was going on. And it was tough. It was a real tough time. But then I got put in contact with someone in America, and it was another guy, a dude with MS, And he was fit and strong, and mid-40s. He was a lawyer, Jim his name was, and I reached out to him and I said, like, what do you do? How do you manage your MS? How do you stay fit and strong and mitigate the symptoms? So he says, I follow this protocol. He said, there's a lady, Dr. Terry Walls, and she's got primary progressive MS. She was in a zero gravity wheelchair, and she first of all worked out what supplements, what nutrients she needed to stop the myelin, the coating on the nerves, from being attacked, which is what happens in multiple sclerosis. Then after a period of time, she worked out what foods contain the same nutrients, and she slowly started to rehabilitate herself to the point where she came out of the zero gravity wheelchair, she started walking again, and over a period of time started getting the level of nutrients up in her body, and then did a lot of other work as well. So that was the starting point for me, and I was into nutrition, so I kind of got how what we eat makes a difference. I didn't quite understand on what level at that point. So I went away, and what's known as now the Walls Protocol, or the AIP, the autoimmune paleo diet, was basically where I was. And I'm not going to lie, in the beginning, I just thought, wow. There's a... There was nothing left to eat. I had no food choices left. I felt like I was just going to eat meat and vegetables. Well, I followed the Walls Protocol for about 9 months, and I went from, get emotional with it. Always the same. Every time I go back to that time, I try and remember. So I started to do it. I started to eat a paleo type diet, so I cut out all refined foods and processed foods. Bearing in mind I couldn't really walk properly. I couldn't feed myself, I couldn't grip things. It was shit. But then I started to be able to grip things, I started to be able to walk. Oh God, I hope I don't do this in the seminars again.
Would you just edit all out?
So I slowly started being able to use my hand, being able to use my legs. I started to regain a little bit of strength. And slowly but surely, things started to come back. I could get into the gym. One of the first things that happened actually was my skin cleared up. I cut out dairy, I cut out grains. And I know now that the grains and the dairy especially, really causes me a lot of skin issues. So does nuts. Nuts are really healthy, there's nothing wrong with nuts, but yeah, for me they're no good. So yeah, I cut out dairy, grains, nuts, blah blah. I went through that and I started to rehabilitate myself. Then I started to incorporate some yoga. I started going back to the gym. I was lifting tiny little weights, but I was back in there and I was doing something. Then I go and see the doctor, and the doctor says to me, "You're doing great. What have you been doing?" And I said, "Well, I sorted out my food and I cut out a lot of pro-inflammatory foods, and I sorted out my vitamin D levels, I sorted out my omega-3 and omega-6 ratio, I started working on my sleep, I started incorporating meditation, I started doing some yoga." variety of things. And the doctor said, well, if you was qualified to take GP referrals, then I would send people to you. And so I did, so I went away and I got qualified, and it was a real basic nutrition diploma. I passed with distinction. You know, I'd already been studying for 10 years plus, and so then I started working as a nutritional therapist. And it was amazing. I loved it. I loved every minute of it, working with people one-on-one and really making a difference in people's lives. It was great. And as I went on, I started studying functional medicine. I found people like Chris Kresser, Rob Wolf, Roman Chatterjee, Mark Hyman, Dr. Ruscio. And they really have become my mentors. They're the people that I follow, not in a weird stalker way, but I follow them and follow their work. I study under them. I study at the Chris Kresser Institute of Functional Medicine. I study at the Institute of Functional Medicine. I've been to seminars by all of those people, plus a load more people. And over the last 5 years, I've really developed a functional approach to things, and that means getting down to the root cause of disease and understanding on a cellular level what makes us sick. What is the pathology? What's the mechanism to why we get sick? So looking back on it now, I can see that I wasn't sleeping very well. I was chronically stressed, and I really was. My food was okay, but there was a lot of food intolerances there, things like dairy, gluten, nuts. You know, since then I've run intolerance tests, so I know what foods I can eat and what foods I can't eat. But most of the foods on the autoimmune protocol, the foods that you're not allowed to eat, are the ones that I react really badly to. So I did a lot of work. I've done a lot of work over the last 5 years. I went back to see my neurologist after 3 years. My neurologist says, I want you to do another MRI scan. We're going to see how you've progressed, what's happened. So I did another MRI scan. I get called back in. And he says to me, I've looked at your MRI results, and it actually shows a reduction in lesion size. Okay, so the scars, the plaques that have built up along my spinal cord actually got smaller. He said there was no active disease. There's no active disease. So the lesions got smaller, there's no active disease. Well, I couldn't really want anything better. Originally they told me that the best I could hope for was that things stayed as they were for a period of time, but they're going to get worse. And the future looked shit. But I didn't take it. I refused to take it. So all this knowledge, everything that I've learned, so I started rehabilitating myself, and yeah, so now it's nearly 6 years since my diagnosis, and I've done a lot more work. Genetic testing, stool samples, food intolerance testing, all the things that we use in functional medicine to find out what's going wrong with people. You know, you look at the current medical system, and the current medical system has this model where you get sick and we give you a pill, we try and match the symptom with a drug. And so if you've got 10 symptoms, you've got 10 drugs, but the truth of it is, they're probably all being caused by the same thing. The underlying mechanisms, the underlying causes is where we need to go. If you've got a stone in your shoe and you go to the doctor's going to give you some painkillers, and sure, it's going to mask it, but the easy thing to do is take your shoe off, take the stone out, no painkillers. So, after 5 years, 6 years of working all this stuff out, you know, working out the food, working out the sleep, how do you sleep better? How do you move better? How do you eat better? How do you eat like a nutritionist? Those are the things, these are the key things that we need to pay attention to. Then we need to look at environmental toxins, things that are going on around our house, the cleaning products, the air that we breathe, the stuff that we're putting on our skin. All of that stuff makes a difference, the things that you come into contact with every day. all of that stuff makes a difference. So that was a little bit about me. I've put this course together. It's 10 weeks long. It covers everything that I've done over the last 5 or 6 years to rehabilitate myself. So if you're suffering from IBS, or you've got other digestive issues, or an autoimmune disease like multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, you have diabetes, cardiovascular disease, cancer, any of those chronic illnesses, come and do my course. You can sign up online. It's £99 just to do the online only version. Or if you want to come and do the weekly seminars, come and sit down and learn with me and have me go through everything on a weekly basis and ask me questions, and specific questions that are going to help you. If you want to do that, it's £299 for the 10 weeks, and you get the online course free. And on the online course you get handouts, recipes, cheat sheets. Every single webinar is recorded as well, so you get to sit and watch those in the comfort of your own home. So if you miss a week, you can always watch it on the online. Or if you want to go back over the webinar, if there was information in there that you thought was really important that you wanted to watch again, then you can go back and you can keep watching that, so you really take it in. There's quizzes to do so that you really enhance your learning, so that you really get to grips with what's going on. And at the end of the course, you would have created your own way of eating and your own way of sleeping. And that's what we really want to get out of this, okay? There's no one size fits all. What we're moving into now with medicine and nutrition is an individualised approach. Okay, and that means you as an individual need your own way of eating, your own way of sleeping. Okay, with sleeping you have a chronotype. So there's no point me saying to you, everyone needs to go to bed at 10 o'clock and get up at 6 o'clock and sleep for 8 hours. It doesn't work like that. Everyone's different. There's no point me saying to you, everyone should be low carb, high fat. It doesn't work like that. When you start to understand genetics, nutrigenomics, and how the food interacts with your DNA and your RNA, and then your RNA and DNA interacts with your food, there's a whole lot more going on. But I'm going to break things down for you really simply. And I'm going to teach you how to eat like a nutritionist, move like an athlete, sleep like a baby, and de-stress like Gandhi.